Welcome children. Today we continue with the third part of the chapter of history on Nazism and the rise of Hitler for standard 9th. And today we are going to learn about Hitler's rise to power. So children, so far we have seen the economic crisis in Germany, the political instability, and the German people were very dissatisfied and unhappy. In such a situation, a person was being made. Hitler. Yes. Let us look into how he rose to power. So Hitler was not born, he was made. Hitler was born in Austria in 1889 and spent his youth in poverty. He lived a very lonely and isolated life. When the First World War broke out, Hitler enrolled in the German army and acted as a messenger at the war front. He later became a corporal in the army and earned medals for bravery, and this confirmed his belief in the heroic virtues of war, and he now became convinced and set his life mission to save Germany. The German defeat in the First World War horrified Hitler, and the Treaty of Versailles made him furious. So in 1919, he joined a small group called the German Workers' Party. Later, Hitler took control over the German Workers' Party and renamed as National Socialist German Workers' Party, and this party later came to be known as the Nazi Party. Hitler was a very powerful speaker and an excellent orator. He could sway the masses through his powerful words. His passion and his words moved the people. He promised them a strong German nation. He also promised to undo the injustice done by the Versailles treaties and restore the dignity of the German people. He promised employment, a better future for the youth, and he also promised to weed out all foreign influences that were working against Germany. How is he going to do it? Yes, Hitler had devised a plan, a new style of politics. Let's look into it. Children, if you remember, 1923, Germany was going through a deep economic crisis and it was unable to pay the war compensation, the war reparations. So when it was unable to pay, what did France do? It occupied Ruhr, the industrial region, the region which was very rich in coal. It occupied that area of Germany. Now when Hitler heard about it, he was furious. So in 1923, he had already devised a plan that he would seize control over Bavaria. Now Bavaria is, as you know, the entire Germany is divided into states. Okay, like in India the whole country is divided into states. Similarly, Germany was also divided into state. So he thought, first let me enter into the state politics, gain control over Bavaria, then he would move to Berlin, the capital, and then capture the entire politics there and rule Germany. So this was the plan that he had devised. Now Hitler had a great plan. He first wanted to enter the state politics and then move to the center and finally rule the country. But his plan failed and he was arrested and tried for treason. What is treason? Treason is betraying one's own country. Okay, and we see till the early 1930s the Nazis could not effectively mobilize popular support. That means they did not succeed in influencing the people to really join the party. They did not get that popular support. Now after Hitler was released from jail, he continued to work for the Nazi party as he was the leader of the Nazi party, and He tried to motivate the people to join and realize that they were actually there to save Germany. And he continued to struggle for power. In 1928, he participated in the German election, which was a German election where people vote to elect their representatives to sit in the German parliament, Riksdag. And in that he failed badly. He got only 2.6% of the votes. The Great Depression, 1929. If you remember, yes, the Wall Street Stock Exchange of USA crashed and the effect was felt worldwide. Germany was badly hit, facing a huge economic crisis, leading to closure of factories and rampant unemployment. It is at this time the propaganda and the promises made by Hitler gave him a chance to rise to power. Let us look into his style of propaganda. Now let us understand the Nazi propaganda. Hitler organized massive rallies and public meetings because Hitler understood the importance of rituals and spectacles in mass mobilization. He used the swastika symbol, the red banner, the Nazi salute, the ritualized round of applause, the soldiers marching in a very disciplined manner, had a very lasting impact on the minds of the people of Germany. And he used this to capture the imagination of the people whose sense of dignity and pride had been shattered due to the economic and political crisis. Hitler was projected as a messiah, a savior who could free people from their distress. And for them, Hitler provided a ray of hope. The propaganda and the promises that Hitler made to the German people helped the Nazi party to become a very, very popular party. And now he decided to participate in the elections. And again, he stood for elections, and this time he became victorious, and the Nazi party secured 37.27 votes, becoming the largest party. Now let's move ahead and see the destruction of democracy. Now Hitler has got into the parliament, his party is the largest party, and we will see how he misuses his power. The Nazi party had secured 37% of the votes in the German parliament Riksdag, and after securing the highest vote and becoming the largest party, on 30th January 1933, Hitler was offered the chancellorship by President Hindenburg because he was the leader of the Nazi party who had the largest number of votes. Now Hitler got the highest position in the cabinet of ministers. And after acquiring power, what did he do? Yes, he began to dismantle the structures of democratic rule. Now within a month we see a very, very alarming thing happening. Hitler took up the post of chancellorship on 30th January 1933, and the very next month, on 28th February 1933, a mysterious fire broke out in the German parliament, and this gave Hitler an excuse to assume all the powers, to keep all the powers in his hand. And on 28th of February, he passed a fire decree and announced that all civic rights were suspended. All civic rights, that is the freedom of speech, press and assembly that was guaranteed under the Weimar Republic, were now suspended. Now what is a decree? Yes, a decree is an official order that has the force of a law. So if Hitler has passed an order, it's supposed to be treated like a law and everyone has to follow it. Now, since nobody knew how this fire happened in the German parliament, Hitler believed that it must have been his enemies, the communists. So, in order to eliminate them so that he can rule properly, he took all of them and put them in concentration camps. Now, what are concentration camps? This is a place where large number of people are detained and confined under armed guards. The guards are watching them. Many people are gathered together, and you can see there are electrified barbed wires all around so that nobody can escape from them. I would call them as murder factories. On 3rd March, so you can see the very next month, 1933, Hitler passed an act called the Enabling Act, and this act gave him all the powers to sideline the parliament and rule by decree. Now, with the passing of the Enabling Act, Hitler now had all the powers in his hand, and he established dictatorship in Germany. So we now see Germany turning from a democracy to dictatorship. Hitler banned all political parties and trade unions. So actually now there was only one party, the Nazi Party. Now Hitler had complete control of the entire German economy, media, army and judiciary. Hitler now has the absolute powers, and he has declared himself as a dictator. But do you think the Germans were happy with this rule? No, they were not happy. It's a big no. None of them were happy. So, but how did he control the people of Germany? Now, in order to maintain the power that he has acquired and to control the population so that they remain absolutely loyal to him, he needed an organization which would support him in this endeavor. So these organizations were created: special surveillance, that is spying, security forces, secret police, regular police. Troopers were created who would give protection to the Nazi rallies whenever they had their rallies and meetings, so that nobody disrupts their meetings. Then protection squadrons were formed. Then there was the RSD, the security service, the criminal police. So you see, these organizations were created to control and order the society. Then these police forces enjoyed extra constitutional powers, and people now could be detained in Gestapo torture chambers, rounded up and sent to concentration camps, deported at will. That means send them away from Germany, or arrest them without any legal procedures. So this was the state when Hitler became a dictator. Now Hitler has assumed absolute power. He is a dictator, and now he has now created special organizations to control the population. But he had promised many things to the German people. Did he keep his promise? We will learn about this in our next video. Till then, stay tuned, do view and subscribe. Thank you.